Hello everyone. Welcome to SST College of Arts and Commerce. I am Professor Reena Mishra, Assistant Professor of SST College of Arts and Commerce. Today I am going to take a session on amalgamation of companies. The session on amalgamation of companies will be concluded in 2 sessions. Okay, so today's session will be more about the theoretical concept regarding amalgamation of companies. The content for the today's presentation are meaning of amalgamation, parties of amalgamation, what are the different advantages of amalgamation, different types of amalgamation, what are the meaning of purchase consideration, as purchase consideration is one of the very important concept related to amalgamation. So we will also see what is the purchase consideration as well as what are the different methods for calculation of purchase consideration. So let's understand the meaning of amalgamation first. Amalgamation means combination or merger. In amalgamation, a new company is formed to take over the business of 2 or more existing companies or old companies, and this formation is called amalgamation. The 2 or more existing companies, at least 2 companies must be there for amalgamation. Okay, 1 or 2 or more companies, they get amalgamated or they get combined with each other, and after combination, after merger of these 2 existing or old companies, the identity of the old companies vanishes and completely a new company with new identity is formed. This process is called amalgamation. Amalgamation is one of the process or one of the form of reconstruction. As from the given example, we can understand this concept more better. Company ABC Limited and company DEF Limited, they got merged with each other, and after that completely a new identified company is formed, that is XYZ Limited. After that, apart from amalgamation, there are different types of there are some more types of reconstruction as far as the reconstruction of companies are concerned. The further type of amalgamation, further type of reconstruction is absorption. What is absorption? As the name itself describes its meaning, when one thing absorbs the other thing. For example, the sponge, it absorbs the water, and after absorption of the water cannot be seen. Okay. Similarly, in absorption, the one existing company, it absorbs the another existing company. After absorption, the company which has been absorbed, it loses its identity, and that company which is being absorbed is known by the company which has absorbed it. For example, business of ABC Limited is taken over by existing company PQR Limited. It is called absorption. The business of ABC is taken over by existing company PQR. It means after absorption, the identity of ABC Limited will be vanished, and that company will be the part of PQR, will be absorbed in PQR, and it will further continue as PQR Limited. This is the absorption. The next type is external reconstruction. In external reconstruction, a new company is formed to take over business of an existing company. Okay, the main difference between the external reconstruction and absorption is that as far as external reconstruction is concerned, one existing company, it necessarily takes over the business of a company which is not doing well financially, economically in market. Okay, the one company which is making continuously losses, incurring losses continuously for past many years. In that case, the company get absorbed by another company, and this kind of reformation or restructuring is called external reconstruction. So these are the three different types of different forms of reconstruction: amalgamation, absorption, and external reconstruction. Today in this session we are going to more focus on amalgamation. Now, amalgamation of company is prescribed by the accounting standard 14. As we know that accounting standard is introduced by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and accounting standard 14, this mainly deals with the amalgamation of company. All the provisions related to amalgamation of companies are mentioned under section are mentioned in the accounting standard 14. The parties to amalgamation are, now mainly there are two parties because companies are getting amalgamated, and there is another company which is amalgamating those old companies. So mainly there are two parties to amalgamation, that is transferor company and transferee company. Transferor company is the company which is amalgamated into another company. Okay, as we have seen in the earlier example, company ABC Limited and company DEF Limited, they got amalgamated. So these two companies are known as transferor company. Whereas transferee company means the company into which a transferor company is amalgamated. Now in the first slide we have seen what is the amalgamation. There, after amalgamating ABC Limited and DEF Limited, a new company XYZ was formed. So XYZ Limited is a transferee company. Now, why do companies amalgamate? Where the companies are doing quite well at its individual level, what is the need of amalgamation? So we will see different advantages of amalgamation as to what is the reason the company they get amalgamated with each other. As there is a saying in Hindi, we say ek se bhale do. The same concept is followed by the companies also as far as the amalgamation concept is concerned. So the different examples are listed in the slide. We will discuss each of it one by one. First is operating economies. When two or more companies they get amalgamated into each other, they get the benefit of operating economies. Lot of expenses related to operating expenses or operating process, they get reduced, and therefore maximum utilization of resources are achieved. This is the main reason or one of the reason for the amalgamation of the companies. Then diversification. After amalgamation, companies may diversify its production, its operating system, or whatever business they are into. They can diversify their way of operating. Then there is a financial economies. Companies after amalgamation also achieve financial economies. Whatever finance is available with the companies, that finance get merged, get combined with each other, and hence they become more strong for to meet the various expenses in the economies. So they achieve the financial economies. After that, growth. When the companies were operating at the individual level, their strength, their strength was limited. Okay, but when they have amalgamated with each other, they have increased in the size, they have increased in terms of resources, and they have increased in various different capacities. And that's how now the companies are geared up for the further growth and further extension in terms of various perspective. After that, there is managerial effectiveness. Amalgamation also ensures managerial effectiveness. There is great utilization of available resources and it ensures the more effectivity of the available resources. It helps to face the competition. Helps to face the competition. This point is also related with the point that is it reduces the competition. Amalgamation reduces the competition, and as at the same time, when two or more companies they have got amalgamated with each other, now they are no more rivalry of each other. In fact, they are more stronger enough to face competition with other companies competing in the market at the national as well as the international level. That's why it helps to face the competition. After that, revival of sick units. Amalgamating companies may not be loss-making companies, but they may have limited resources. Their growth might be slow. Okay. So after amalgamation, suppose if the stronger units take over the business of weaker units, it can revival it into a stronger unit. That's how amalgamation ensures the revival of weaker or sick unit into the stronger one. Hence, the efficiency of the companies extends. Last, tax advantages. How do amalgamation helps to achieve the tax advantages? Once the companies amalgamate, as per section 47 of Income Tax Act, the capital gains, which is the capital gains describes that the transfer of assets after amalgamation do not consider it as a capital gain, and therefore after amalgamation the transfer of asset is not considered as capital gain, and hence it provides the tax advantages. The tax is not imposed on such transfer. Now there are two types of amalgamation. Amalgamation takes place in the nature of merger as well as amalgamation is in the nature of purchase. Now in the further slide we will discuss over the different types of conditions which is considered while the amalgamation takes place in the nature of merger. Amalgamation in the nature of merger, it consider 5 conditions. These 5 conditions are: first, assets and liabilities. All the assets and liabilities of the transferor companies, that is the vendor company, becomes the assets and liabilities of the transferee company. Before amalgamation, whatever assets as well as liabilities were possessed were owned by the vendor company, that is transferor company. After amalgamation, it gets transferred to the transferee company and then it belongs to the transferee company. Second condition is equity share capital. Shareholders holding at least 90% or more of the face value of equity shares of the vendor company becomes equity shareholders of the transferee, that is the purchasing company. At least 90% of the shareholders of the vendor company must become the shareholder of the purchasing company. Next, and the third condition is purchase consideration. We will consider what is the meaning of purchase consideration in the next slide. Purchase consideration due to the shareholders of the transferors, that is vendor company, is discharged by the transferee company wholly by the issue of equity shares, except that cash may be paid against fractional shares or payment to dissenting shareholders. Purchase consideration is the consideration which is payable by the purchasing company to the vendor company, and this consideration is discharged in the form of equity shares or other securities. Sometimes the part payment also takes place in the form of cash. Next is business. Business of the vendor company is intended to be carried out by the purchasing company. Since the purchasing company takes over the business of vendor company, therefore, after amalgamation, the purchasing company will continue the business of the amalgamating company, that is the vendor company. The fifth condition of the merger is no adjustment is made to the face value, to the book value of assets of the vendor company when they are incorporated in the financial statement of the company. When the asset of the vendor company is incorporated in the financial statement, that is the books of accounts maintained by the purchasing company, no adjustment is made to the book value of it. The other condition is amalgamation in the nature of purchase. So as far as the other method of amalgamation, that is in the nature of purchase, is concerned, if any of the 5 conditions applicable in merger is not satisfied, it is called the amalgamation in the nature of purchase. Now there are few technical terms which is used in amalgamation. Business. What does the business word means in amalgamation? Taking over the business means taking over all the assets and the liabilities. Right from the first slide, I am pitching over the amalgamating company or the purchasing company takes over the business of the vendor company. What does it mean? It means that the vendor company is giving away all the assets, all the liabilities to the purchasing company. And after amalgamation, those all assets as well as liabilities will be now the assets and liabilities of the purchasing company. All assets. Assets includes all assets including cash, bank, goodwill, but it excludes fictitious assets. Okay. Now assets means all the real assets. Now these assets may be tangible assets or intangible assets, but it necessarily do not include any type of fictitious assets. Fictitious assets are not real assets, like profit and loss account, debit balance, then expenses incurred for issue of shares, preliminary expenses. These all are the examples of fictitious assets. They are not the part of assets. All liabilities. Liability is a wider term and it includes all the outside liabilities which is payable to the third parties. Now, purchase consideration. Purchase consideration, one of the very important terminology as far as the amalgamation is concerned. As per section 14, as per accounting standard 14, purchase consideration is the aggregate of shares and other securities issued and the payment made in the form of cash or other assets by the transferee company to the shareholders of the transferor company. Purchase consideration is a form of payment, is a form of consideration which is payable by the transferee company to the transferor company shareholders. Now this payment may be in the form of shares or other securities. Other securities includes debentures as well, or sometimes it also includes in the form of cash. Now, how do the calculation of purchase consideration is done? The calculation of purchase consideration takes place in two different methods. That is lump sum payment method, and the other method is net assets method. Lump sum payment method, the amount is already given in the problem. A lump sum amount is mentioned that this amount is payable by the transferor company to the transferee company. Whereas the net assets method compute the amount of purchase consideration. And for calculation, the value of total assets taken over minus value of liabilities undertaken. The difference between the value of assets taken over and the value of liabilities taken over is known as the amount of purchase consideration under the net asset method. Now here we can have a look at the computation of purchase consideration according to the net payment method. Net payment method, according to this net payment method, the amount of equity shares, the amount of preference share, amount of debenture is computed. Now these are the different types of securities, shares and securities, as well as sometimes the cash is also paid to discharge the liability of this. The amount of equity shares is computed by multiplying the number of shares and the issue price. And this is how the total amount is considered as the purchase consideration. Thank you.